Hey, what's up? My name is JM Chaley and welcome to my channel. This week I want to talk about writing fight scenes. So fight scenes are fun. I like writing fight scenes. I really do. I love writing fight scenes. And I've gotten good feedback from beta readers and critique partners on fight scenes. But here's the thing with fight scenes. And you know it, and I know it. A lot of readers will skim or skip a fight scene. The clash starts, there's back and forth, and this and that. And there's some skimming. We've all done it. I've done it, right? I know. It's terrible. You're just like, okay, they're fighting. Let me just skip to the and who wins. And okay, good. Let's move on to the story. But how do we write kick-ass fight scenes that readers won't want to skip? Come up with 7 different tips. Hopefully, will arm you with some tricks to craft a fight scene that will be a delight to read. So let's start with number 1, no technobabble, right? I've heard someone compare this to the hokey pokey. You know, you put your right foot in, you put your right foot out, you put your right foot in. Right? You put your left arm in, nobody wants that level of detail. You know, my left arm came in, blocked with my right. I moved my left foot to pivot while I turned my side to absorb who gives a shit, right? Nobody cares, right? Use quick, definitive words. Thrust, jab, block. We don't need a lesson in martial arts or anything like that. This was one of my problems when I started writing my fight scenes. After taking so many years of martial arts, I wanted to paint a vivid picture. And what I really did was create a lot of noise and slow the pacing down tremendously. Which brings me to number 2, pacing. Now, a fight scene is supposed to be quick, and you want to capture that in your writing. But you also don't want it to be choppy. So you want quick sentences. He thrust his sword. She blocked it. He parried. She dodged. Right? All this is kind of good. Maybe more than 2 words in a sentence, but you get the drift. But every now and then you want to throw in a longer sentence. And we're going to get to what those longer sentences can be about, because those are the other 5 tips that I'm talking about. But you certainly don't want a fight scene that's all because that'll just feel choppy and it'll be very skimmable, easily skimmed, right? The longer sentences are the ones that stick out and pull your reader in and go, whoa, what's happening now? What just happened? Right? The more descriptive stuff. But there's a balance of pacing. So when you finally get to the end of your fight scene, you're going to want to go back and read it out loud. Feel the pacing as you're reading it out loud, if it makes sense, if it needs to be tweaked, and stick with what works. Number 3, descriptions. Now, here are examples of longer sentences that you can put into the quick quips of action. He thrust his sword. You know, a spurt of blood jettisoned from his neck, right? That's a description. It's germane to the fight. Because guess what? You're not going to be noticing the tapestries hanging on the wall during a big fight, right? You're not going to be noticing the intricate knotwork of your opponent on their tunic as you're stabbing them. I mean, maybe if you want to have a pacing thing where they step back and they're breathing and talking to one another, okay, yeah, and you notice something off in the corner, that's something else. I'm talking about something in the heat of battle, quick, the sound of a bone breaking. I mentioned the blood spurting thing. You could do stuff like that, right? You know, the taste of coppery blood in your mouth after you've been punched, whatever, right? Take some time to describe what the character is thinking and feeling. I'm going to get to more of that later, but your descriptions will break up the quick little thrust sword, punched, shotgun, whatever, to balance out that pacing and pull a reader in as they realize, ooh, something else is happening right now. They're not just trading blows. Number 4 is emotion. Now, going hand in hand with this, your main character is feeling something while they're engaged in this combat. This is especially important if you're doing first person or third person deep, if you're really in the mind, the POV of the main character, and your reader is in their head and knowing how they're feeling. Are they feeling fear? Are they angry? Are they whatever? Are they upset? Are they feeling pain? Right? All this kind of stuff is in their head. You want to let them emote. Now, maybe there's not enough time to really get into their feelings. You don't want a therapy session here. You're not going to sit down and talk about their feelings for at length. But maybe when they land a successful hit on their opponent, they're welled with confidence, or suddenly they feel satisfied with the fact that they broke someone's arm, or who knows what. Emotion belongs in a fight scene too. It deserves a mention, and it will help with your pacing, and it'll help keep your reader engaged. Number 5, who's doing what? You want to sort out who's doing what. This is important because once you start talking about trading blows, especially if you're talking about a fight scenario with more than 2 people, and you start using pronouns, he, she, they, whatever the pronouns that are applicable to your combatants, may get confusing if your reader can't tell who's doing what. So be careful about starting a new paragraph from a new person taking action or speaking. Try not to mix the thoughts and actions of, or I should say, instead of try not to, don't mix the thoughts and actions and speech of multiple people in the same paragraph, right? Have obvious delineations of who's doing what. Use proper names when effective. One of the things I did with A Flower in Hell is Cynthia didn't know the names of all the people she was fighting, and sometimes she nicknamed them. Like, she's fighting demons, and she'd say, oh, Pigface thrust another sword at me, that sort of thing. He was a demon with a face like a pig. She wasn't being mean. and that helped me help the reader sort out the combatants, because I could refer to him as him or Pigface or her, and then when I threw another male into the mix and I had 2 he's, I could differentiate between Pigface and someone else. That's just an example. You're not always going to have demons with animal features, so you may have to get creative. Number 6, the 5 senses. Now, I kind of talked about this before in terms of emotion and description, but you really want to pay attention to the 5 senses that are going on with your main character during the fight. They're going to feel pain, yes. You want to react to the pain. And not just immediately. You get stabbed, it hurts, of course. But that wound is going to continue to hurt them through the duration of their fight. Right? Maybe their vision gets blurry. Maybe sounds like it's underwater as they're struggling to maintain consciousness as they continue this fight. Maybe they start seeing spots, flashes of light in their vision as they're concussed or whatever. And it doesn't have to be all pain. The crack of a whip, the sound of a gun, the barking of a dog. Anything that is relevant to the fight that your character would notice, smell, hear, see, right? That should be put into the combat, especially if it's something that is happening and maybe even distracts, pulls away from combat, their attention, right? Sound of someone calling for help, or a baby crying, or whatever, right? All this kind of stuff is important. The world is still going on around your character. What are they experiencing in the heat of the moment? What are they going to take notice of? Your readers are going to want to know that, and it keeps the characters grounded, and you can raise stakes in the fight, even if they're fighting some stupid henchman, by hurting your character a little bit and letting your reader know how badly they're hurt. And this can be done through the 5 senses. And finally, number 7, this is kind of my favorite one, and it's dialogue. I love a fight scene where there's dialogue. Now, it doesn't need to be witty banter back and forth like Spider-Man fighting, Dr. Octopus or something like that. But it can be little places where it adds value or entertainment, you know. And dialogue, you know, if a reader's trying to skim or want to skim, and they see quotation marks, they go, oh, someone's saying something, this is important. It's like, hit the brakes, read what's going on. And if there's some funny little quip or some dramatic message going back and forth, that'll pull them back into the fight. And I think that's important too. Now, it can be something like, not today, you know, avast ye, and it could be all that kind of stuff, and that's great. Or it could be more like, you know, The Princess Bride, you know, I am also not left-handed. Or, you killed my father, prepare to die. You know, I want my father back, you son of a bitch, right? It can be all that kind of stuff too. It could be, I am your father. You know, that sort of thing. Or it could be witty banter, funny, whatever you think the mood or the feel of the combat can be. You can change that tone from scary, perilous, suspenseful, gritty to humorous. Whatever you want to do, you can do a lot with dialogue. So, you know, maybe you don't want to saturate your scene with dialogue, maybe you do. It depends on what you're after. But dialogue is a very powerful way to enrich your fight scenes and make them real. I mean, if you're fighting someone, you may want to have something to say to this asshole who's trying to beat you up or kill you, right? You may have some thoughts that you want to share with this person. Your main character would too. So that's about it. 7 tips. Hopefully they were helpful, and hopefully they can be handy in your writing when you write fight scenes. That about wraps it up. If you liked the video, please give a like, and as always, please subscribe. I post most Thursdays, and you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's where I post a lot of stuff about the unlife of Lisa Cooper, which I'm very excited about that series. Having a ball writing it, and I'm so happy that my readers are enjoying reading it. You can also find out more stuff about what's going on with A Flower in Hell and the Unlife of Lisa Cooper on my webpage, jmchaley.com, or you can sign up for my newsletter. Be sure to mark it as not spam, because MailChimp does not play nicely with most mail clients. It is what it is. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.